Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Dribble, the show where we take a closer look into the Boston Celtics, the rest of the NBA, and whatever else might come up. My name is Luke Irwin, and I am your host. Like I said, welcome back. We were on a little bit of a holiday hiatus, if you will. I hope everybody had a great holiday, spent some time with some loved ones, getting ready for the new year, everything that's involved. I hope everybody had a nice little break, but we are back. All right, and we have a lot to talk about, a packed show. First, a new Celtic gets the player spotlight this week. Exciting to talk about that and why they deserve the player spotlight. I'm also going to open some New Year's letters with some resolutions from some Celtics. Super excited about that. And then, obviously, we're going to recap the past 2 weeks because we weren't around last week, the 2-week slate of games that the Celtics had. Then, when you hear this sound, that means it's time to shut up about the Celtics. Luke, stop talking about the Celtics. It's time to talk about the rest of the NBA. There's 29 other teams, so we're going to talk about them. Hope's Hotel is moving and shaking. Obviously, the holiday times, people are in and out of hotels. People are changing rooms. People are moving all over the place. So this hotel is no different. Hope's Hotel has a lot of changes there. And then we're going to do Major Wager. Major Wager, always a good time. Plus, of course, like every episode, I'm going to recap some of games, or not recap, but look forward to some of the games in the coming week, along with the Celtics slate of games. So, yeah, so much to get into. And I personally suggest we do, because this is The Dribble. Okay, Happy New Year, everybody. Like I said, before we get started, I want to give a quick shout out to the McDonough boys. The McDonough boys got me this shirt for Christmas. Check it out, pretty cool. It's the 86 Celtics. We have everybody in there, Danny Ainge, Bill Walton. We got Larry Bird, Larry Legend, Kevin McHale, DJ, Dennis Johnson, and Parrish, the Chief. And then, of course, Red Auerbach smoking a cigar right here for a fat victory. So shout out to the McDonough boys. Great shirt. Had to rock it on the first pod back. But yeah, let's get started. We have the first thing up I want to talk about is a player spotlight. And that player spotlight goes to, drum roll please, Kristaps Porzingis, Porzy, a.k.a. the Latvian Leviathan. You know who it is. Crowd goes wild. First off, don't worry. The Great White Derek will have a player spotlight at some point. He obviously deserves one every single week, but I had to give it to Kristaps Porzingis because of some of the numbers that stood out to me that I didn't know, and I certainly didn't expect. First of all, I want to talk about KP's clutch shooting. KP has been incredibly efficient in late game situations and late quarter situations. He's been really good. And that's a far cry from what we had from Marcus Smart, obviously. We all know that Marcus Smart, as much as we love him, he was kind of a difficult late game player. It was very frustrating to watch. But Porzingis is different from that. He hits big shots when we need him to. This season, Porzingis is shooting 57% from the field with under 3 minutes left in any quarter. So anytime you need to close out the quarters, which if you know basketball, you know that is the most important part of the game, is closing out quarters. Can you close out quarters? Can you close a lead from the other team, or can you build your lead up without giving it up before the quarter ends, especially at the half? 57%, nearly 60% from the floor in the final 3 minutes of each quarter. He's also shooting 49% from the floor in the fourth alone. So basically 50% shooting in the fourth. That's super clutch. A lot of people fall apart. Not saying Jason Tatum falls apart, but maybe I just said that a little bit. I think he's going to find it. He always finds his rhythm in the playoffs in the fourth, so I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, 50%, and in the final 3 minutes, in the fourth alone, he shoots 55.6% from the floor. So it goes up in the final three. Instead of a lot of people who go down, his goes up from 49% in the fourth to 55.6% in the final 3 minutes in that frame. So those are well above league average, all of those. So he's in good company. And we just finally have that option. If Tatum's not flowing and Jaylen Brown is in and out of the game and Derek White's not quite hitting, it's really nice to know that JT gets doubled, he kicks it out. Porzingis has definite efficiency to hit that shot and to give us a lead. But the reason that he gets the spotlight, because those are great, but the reason he gets the spotlight is because Kristaps Porzingis leads the Boston Celtics in the following categories. He leads the Boston Celtics in PER, that's player efficiency rating. He leads us in true shooting percentage. He leads us in free throw rate, which is like free throws drawn per shot. He leads the team in free throw rate, so he's getting to the line. He's aggressive. He leads the team in block percentage of shots that he defends, that he blocks. He leads us in that category. Win shares per 48 minutes, which is huge, obviously. I mean, 48 minutes in a game, so he has been in and out, injured a little bit, so he doesn't have as many total win shares, but per 48 minutes that he plays, he leads the team in win shares. And then he's also tied with Jason Tatum on offensive win shares, total offensive win shares. So that's really incredible. And not only that, he also has an effective field goal percentage of 61%, which is top, not the top in the league, but that's in the upper echelon of the league. And on a team with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Drew Holiday, while being 25-6, the best record, I'm recording this on Sunday, so maybe we won against the Spurs. I'm thinking we did. But as of right now, 25-6. And on the consensus best team in the league as of today. That is an insane thing to lead in PER, true shooting, free throw percentage, win shares per 48. That is insane. Basically, and again, to lead with those with a guy like Tatum on your team, with a guy like Brown on your team, just shows how efficient he is. And then that combined with the late game and late quarter efficiency that we just talked about, he is a huge piece of this team. If he can stay healthy, he's a huge piece of this team, because when he's on the floor, basically what all those numbers mean, the PER, if you don't know, the true shooting percentage, the win shares per 48, basically that is a metric of efficiency while on the court. And he's the number 4, and he leads us in those categories. That means even though he doesn't get as many opportunities as Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, when he does get the opportunities, he's been capitalizing. And we are now 32, 31 games into the season. That's a pretty good sample size. And so if he can be the 4th option and be giving that kind of efficiency, leading the team in all of those categories, that is really great. So for that, congratulations, Kristaps Porzingis. You are the player spotlight this week on the Dribble. Huge honor, so take it in stride. Now, before we move on to the games, I want to open a couple letters because my mailbox was full this morning. I got a bunch of letters from a bunch of Celtics players, coaches, staff, management. I got a bunch of letters from them here, and they're all addressed to the Dribble. And it looks like, I reached out to the Boston Celtics, it looks like these letters that they wrote me are all New Year's resolutions that these Celtics players, coaching staff, management have for me. And I got a bunch of them. I got 15 of them. I got 30 of them, whatever it is. I got a whole mailbox full. But I'm just going to pick 4 random ones and read those 4 resolutions from the players themselves. The first one that we have, let's go ahead and do Jaylen Brown. Wow, letter from Jaylen Brown. Can you see that? Wow, to the Dribble from Jaylen Brown. Pretty amazing. Let's go ahead and open this guy. I really like getting mail from my fans, especially when those fans are the NBA players that I'm talking about constantly. So this is really exciting. Well, before I open this, actually, let's play some music. Can we get some? Thank you. Yeah, some New Year's music. Let's go ahead and open this first one. This is from JB. I'll read what he wrote. Dear Mr. Dribbler. Oh, that's cute. My name is Jaylen Brown, and I'm a huge fan of the Dribble. Thanks, Jaylen. I'm a huge fan of yours. My New Year's resolution for 2024 is to balance my aggressive play with better decision-making. Instead of going 1v5 on a drive in transition, I will try to pass for a better shot. P.S. I'm fine with my left hand. Please do not mention it. Happy New Year, Jaylen Brown. Wow, Jaylen. First of all, big fan of yours, obviously, too. I love this resolution for you, Jaylen. This is a great resolution. I think you're spot on with this one. And the reason that I think it's such a good resolution for you, you lead the league in field goal attempts and second in both field goal makes and points per game in transition. That's awesome. That's amazing. You are aggressive. And that's what we like about you, Jaylen. You see an opportunity, you take it. And I don't want you to lose that aggression ever. However, you do sometimes challenge like a triple team or a quadruple team, which makes you 114th in the league in transition field goal percentage. That's not very good. 114th in the league in percentage of field goal, because a lot of the time what's happening, you're getting blocked at a higher rate because you're driving into 3-4 guys at a time in transition. So I love that. I think it's a great resolution. Sometimes just pull back, right? Monitor, see what's happening, slow your motor a little bit, and trust me, there are teammates running with you. They're just a couple steps behind because you're really fast. But pull out, make sure you see what you're seeing. You don't always have to go directly to the basket, and hopefully that field goal percentage in transition will go up a little bit from 114th in the league Yeah, so maybe sometimes it's best to pull back and kind of see what the floor is. But I love that resolution. Very self-aware. I love that, JB. Good job. I love that for you. Let's move on. Let's open another one. This one is from, it's from Jason Tatum, the other J. Look at that. That's his handwriting for sure, Jason Tatum. Let's open this one up. Again, love getting fan mail from the people I talk about. So let's see what this one is. Ooh. All right, Jason. Let's see what your New Year's resolution is. Dear the Dribbler. I did not know people called me that, but I guess it's kind of sticking. Big fan. I love the Hopes Hotel and you and your Larry Bird house. Wow, that's my Larry Bird house. Thanks, Jason Tatum. I love it too. Maybe one day we can be friends and build a Jason Tatum house. That doesn't make much sense. Larry Bird, I don't think you understand the Larry Bird house, but that's fine. Yeah, let's do that. I want to be friends with you too. My New Year's resolution is to chill out on shooting step back and pull up threes that stall our offense and don't go in. I want to post up more and use my size and IQ to make the right play. P.S. I'm still going to shoot some threes because they are fun and they are worth more and the crowd seems to like it. Happy New Year. Love, Jason Tatum. Love you too, buddy. I love this resolution for you as well. You and Jalen, spot on with these. I love this. You're a fantastic shooter. You're amazing. Of course you're a good shooter. I'm sure that you'll hit a hot streak in the playoffs and it'll be great. However, this season so far, you are 11th in three-point attempts. That means you shoot a lot of threes. But you're so big. But you're 135th in the league in three-point percentage with 34%. 135th. You shoot the 11th most threes, but you are 135th in the league in shooting those threes with 34%. So it feels like sometimes you shoot off the dribble, you take a contested three to get back into rhythm. Like when you're not shooting well, you keep shooting threes, which for a shooter and a non-primary scorer, that's great. But you are a primary scorer, and you're too good down low to just be settling for three after three when you get in a slump. And you went to the gym in the offseason, and you have muscles now. So I'm really proud of you. You are top 10 in points per possession off of post-ups. So I want to see you post up more, like your New Year's resolution says, more post-ups from Jason Tatum. You have a points per possession of 1.25 when you post up. That means you're over 1 point per possession whenever you post up. And I like the way that you combat double teams up top. You're really good at getting the ball out. But if you draw double teams down low, you have too many good three-point shooters that you can kick it out to. And I think your court vision is better down low. And again, you are bigger, stronger. When you want to in these games, whenever you post up, you are getting into the paint and you're getting a shot. Whether they're doubling you and you can kick it out, or you get a shot where you do 1.25 points per possession, you deserve to be in the post more. I love this resolution. Be in the post more, less threes at the top of the key, more post ups for Jason Tatum. I love it. Very self-aware again, JT. Good resolutions, guys. Good resolutions. Let's see if the next one is just as good. Oh, who's this? Drew Holiday. We got a Drew Holiday resolution here. Here it is. Let's open up what Drew has for his New Year's resolution for 2024. Let's see, Drew. What do you have for us? Ooh, all right. Dear Dribbler. Again, it's catching on. I know you're busy watching too much basketball, but if you could read my resolution, that would make me happy. You are my hero. Wow, you're my hero. Thank you. My New Year's resolution is to catch Derek White in total blocks this season. Ever since I said that we'll make it a competition in the beginning of the year, he has seemed to pull away. He is really, really good. Do you think I can do it? Anyway, I love you. Happy New Year. Drew Holiday. Wow, Drew. Thank you so much for the letter. I also love you. I love you too. Drew, you're right. Derek White is really good, and especially in blocks for his size and for what he does. It's a great resolution. Anytime you can try to keep up with Derek White is a great resolution. I remember in the beginning of the year when you mentioned that in an interview that you wanted to start tallying the blocks to see who at the end of the year gets the most. Unfortunately, right now, Derek White has 37 blocks on the league or on the season, and you have 24, which is 13 away. It's not too many, but Derek White with 37 is really, really good. And unfortunately, like you said, Derek White's so good. He's currently leading all NBA guards in block percentage with 3.6%. That means that 3.6% of the shot attempts that people take on him as a defender, he blocks. That's really high. And he leads all guards. He leads all guards. And you're very good. You're in 10th for all guards, and you 2.2 percentage for block percentage. So you're right there. You're not far off, but Derek White has been on another level when it comes to the blocks. I love this resolution. More aggressive on defense, just waiting in the water. The problem is you've been guarding and asked to guard more big men. I know that Joe Mazzulla has you guarding the team's centers or power forwards, some of their best players. If there's Giannis, you're going to be on Giannis this year. So you're not going to get as many blocks on those big guys, and Derek White has been kind of controlling the perimeter. But I love this New Year's resolution for you. Be a ball hawk. Get that ball. It's going to be hard to catch Derek White, but it's going to be good competition to see you really try that. So again, great New Year's resolution. I love these New Year's resolutions, guys. Really awesome. I love it. Okay, one more. Let's do this one. Huh? Whoa, we got a good one here. We got Brad Stevens, our first non-player. This is going to be the final one we read today. Brad Stevens, New Year's resolution, the GM of the Boston Celtics. Brad has been amazing. So I don't know what Brad is going to have a New Year's resolution for, but let's open it up and find out. It's exciting. All right, Brad. Dear Sir Dribbler, so formal, but thank you. Happy New Year. Your show is so good. I think it's better than The Sopranos and Breaking Bad combined. I don't know about that, but it is good. Thank you. My New Year's resolution is to stop being so good at my job. People don't understand. For some reason, being a GM is so easy for me. I want a challenge. Porzingis, game changer. Holiday, big hit. White, out of control good. I'm a wonderkin, but sometimes I want to have a normal boy summer. P.S. I love you too. Happy New Year, Brad Stevens. Brad, I know you're a big fan, and I look up to you too. You look up to me, but I can't accept this resolution. I'm sorry. You do not choose this life. This life chooses you. And Brad, you have been amazing gaining KP and Holiday and retaining White, all while simultaneously shifting our culture and atmosphere without losing our core in JT and JB by trading smart. That was legendary. That is something you do not often, when you see a shakeup, you don't get to see the team still be top in the league. All while navigating an unexpected head coaching change with Ime Udoka out. You have the trust in a young Joe Mazzulla, who last year was a little bit shaky, first year, but this year has been excellent. His lineups have been excellent. His plays have been excellent. People have been frustrated with timeouts, but he's 27-5 in challenges, or 27-6 in challenges. He's got a great head on his shoulders, and you've surrounded him with an amazing staff with Sam Cassell and all these guys who are just incredible. So I'm sorry, but I can't accept this resolution. However, I can give you, Brad, a different resolution for this year. This new resolution, this is one that I did not think I would be giving you because I, a month ago, had a different tune. My resolution to you is to hold. Hold at the trade deadline. Don't make a move. I know so many people want you to get a better big man with Cornette or more depth. Maybe something in the depth compartment, but I really think hold. I love this team. I love the way they're playing. They seem to be playing for each other. Every game, the bench is standing up. We have great camaraderie. I really like this unit, and I've loved what Cornette has given. Keita has given us a great boost off the bench, even though he's more of a basic center. But we have great shooting with Porzingis and Horford to stretch the floor, and then we have some solid guys. Cornette has really stepped up his game. So my New Year's resolution is a little bit odd, and I bet some Celtics fans will tell me I'm wrong, but hold. Hold at the trade deadline. That is my resolution for you. So yeah, that was New Year's resolutions. It's so great when the players and coaches write me letters. I'm going to hang these. I'm going to frame these on the wall because what a great treat to have so many great fans and to have the fans be the players that I talk about. So that's amazing. So like I said, I was gone for the past week, but Celtics had 6 games. We went 5-1 in those 6 games. We started off with our annual West Coast trip, which opened up another loss to the Warriors, which was so infuriating, but kind of you could have told me and I wouldn't have been surprised. Warriors 132, Celtics 126 in overtime. At that point, we were 0-3 in overtime, having some struggles. I really don't know what to say. When the Celtics play the Warriors, something goes on. Something goes wrong. We forget how to shoot. We forget how to move the ball properly. But it's especially Tatum. Something is following him from those finals. And we saw it last year. He played poorly against them. And then this year, he had 15, 8, and 7, which seems like a good game. But he shot 29% from the floor. not from three, from the floor. And from three, he shot 22% in this game. And he had a bunch of turnovers, and he looked slow, and he could not defend. What I've noticed when Tatum plays this Warriors team is he is looking around as if someone else is going to do something, make a move, and when he's on defense. And he just looks lost the entire time. And then on offense, he looks timid. He catches the ball one dribble, passes it out, even though he has somebody he can absolutely take. So I have not liked his play, but again, could have guessed it with this Warriors team. Also, can't deny it, Steph Curry owns the Boston Celtics right now. He has supreme confidence against any team. But against the Boston Celtics right now, it seems like he knows that he's never going to miss a shot. He's so clutch against us. He always hits the dagger, and he's clowning us. He's doing this. He's doing this. He clowns us left and right. Like I said, supreme confidence, but when he plays the Celtics, he's Tom Brady, Michael Jordan level clutch and confident. And I don't know. There's nothing we can really do about it. But feeling annoyed, we unleashed our rage.
But I shall unleash my fury upon you like the crashing of 1,000 waves. I am untethered and my rage knows no bounds.
We unleashed our rage from that loss against the hot and cold Kings, winning 144-119 on the second night of a back-to-back in the West Coast. So that's pretty sweet. Was a great win. Very impressive. We could have easily dropped both of those games, losing to the Warriors and then another back-to-back against a fast, hungry, fast-paced team. That could have easily been a back-to-back loss, but we did not. We crushed them, beat them by 25. Jason Tatum did not play in this game. Jaylen Brown took over, and the team looked so good, passing the ball, heavy distribution, a lot of players in double figures. It was a fantastic game. And then the Celtics went to the City of Stars, L.A., the city where, while the Clippers and Lakers are fighting over who owns L.A. for some time now, the Celtics established that it is actually Boston that owns LA. Sorry, LA fans, but it's actually Boston that owns you. First, we dismantled the Clippers 145-108 on the back of Jason Tatum, who did not play the previous game against the Kings. He was lethal in this one. He had 30 points in just as many minutes. So 30 points, 30 minutes. He had a monster dunk against our old buddy, Daniel Tice. Show it right here.
John West is pretty insane. I mean, he makes almost half his threes here.
Incredible, insane.
He brought his big boy pants today.
Get loose, young fella. Putting on a show.
Then Santa came to town and gave us one of the best NBA rivalry matchups on the big day, on Christmas Day game, Lakers, Celtics. Celtics won this game basically from the jump. There was not much of a competition except from AD. AD played well. He had 40 points and 13 rebounds, but the Celtics ultimately won 126-115. Again, this was just a game of dominance. This was actually now Porzingis, and Tatum playing a little two-man game. Combined stats, they had 58 points, 19 rebounds, and 9 assists together. And again, combined shooting percentage, they shot even 50. And then the Celtics went back to the East Coast, where we belong, went back home to defend our home court, which we did. And we moved to 16-0, beating both the Detroit Pistons and the Toronto Raptors in that game. The Detroit Pistons game, it was an overtime game against the lowly Detroit Pistons, who are in the bus stop at Hope's Hotel. And they had lost 27 straight before this. We sent them to 28 straight. And a lot of Celtics fans were freaking out, being like, why didn't we blow them out? We should have crushed this team. What the hell's wrong with us? There's nothing wrong with us. Okay, the Pistons played really well. They were desperate. They didn't want to be the first ever team to have a 28-game losing streak in a single season. The Sixers back in 2015 had more, but that was spanning 2 different seasons, the end of one season and then to start the next one. But they didn't want to be the first ever team to have 28 straight losses in the NBA season. So they were hungry, they were desperate, they came out shooting well, they were hot in the first half, and we were not. We were missing most of our threes. At one point, I think we were like 5 for 22 from 3 at one point. Things weren't falling. Brown wasn't there. Jason Tatum wasn't playing that well to begin with. He ended up having a pretty good game overall. He had a great third quarter. But yeah, they just played well. Credit to the Pistons. But again, Celtics fans, we still won. We won the game. Did we win the game, Celtics fans? Because I wouldn't know if you went on the Celtics Instagram and just looked at the comments. Because all the fans are like, I hate this team. How come we didn't beat them by 60? It's like, okay, we just beat the Kings by a bunch. We just beat the Clippers by a bunch. Those are 2 good teams. And yeah, we came back from a West Coast trip, a little lethargic, a little beaten up, and we didn't crush the team that was desperate for a win, scratching and clawing. They are an NBA team, the Pistons are, we think. By the way, shout out to the Pistons snapping their 28-game losing streak with a win on Saturday. Good job. Love that. And then finally, we closed out our 16-0 record at home, beating the Toronto Raptors 120-118. This is another tough win. We did not have Jason Tatum, Kristaps Porzingis, or Al Horford in this game. Those are obviously three of our marquee players, and they're some of our best defenders. Tatum and Porzingis are two of our top defenders, and Al Horford can certainly show his stripes when he needs to. Brown started us off hot. He had 24 points in that game against the Raptors in the first half, and then in the second half he had 7, so kind of petered off, but again, White was there to save the day. And then also Brown did have 7 turnovers, which he needs to clean that up a little bit, but it doesn't matter when you have a team this deep and you have that kind of confidence, and that's what we're talking about, right? We talked about it last pod, where you have Derek White, who has so much confidence, and he's building the confidence now. So sometime in the playoffs, we will be without a star player, or they don't have it. They don't have their shot. And it's not going to be, Derek, you take it, can you? It's going to be, Derek, you take it. We know you can. And Derek's just going to be able to do what he needs to do because he has this confidence. He can any given night score 30. And that's huge for a championship team. So again, it's a hard league to win in, and we're winning a lot, and we're winning with a lot of key players out. So great sign, great couple of, you know, that means that is the buzzer. That means it is time to shut up about the Celtics, Luke. It is time to talk about the rest of the NBA. We got a lot of great stuff to talk about for the NBA. Hope's Hotel, I mentioned, shaking things up. Hope's Hotel is my tier ranking list for NBA teams, based on where I believe their title hopes are within the league, right? Everything from the parking lot, no hopes, all the way to the penthouse, high hopes. And then also we're going to bring in my degenerate gambling brother. It's Timmy KGB, a.k.a. T-Bone Steak Extra Rare, no hollandaise. We're going to do some major wager with him. So let's get started with the Hopes Hotel. So let's just get right into it. Let's do it. Let's do it right now. So let's go with the parking lot of the Hopes Hotel. Not too much has changed, but some has changed. We have the Pistons, the Wizards, the Jazz, the Trailblazers, the Hornets, the Raptors, the Bulls, and the San Antonio Spurs. So the Detroit Pistons, as you can see, they're no longer at the bus station with a hat and a bottle of wine and smoking a cigarette. They have now gotten away from there because I am impressed, we talked about it earlier, at how hard they're trying. It is easy if you're been on a 28-game losing streak. It is really easy for you to just give up all hope, take the bus, and get out of Dodge. But this team's not doing that. Cade Cunningham has heart. This team has heart. They've been trying, and so for that, they're no longer at the bus station. Good job, Pistons. You are now in a parking lot spot. You'll never get out of that parking lot spot this year, but use that as motivation. And then you have the Wizards, obviously, Jazz, like I said, Trailblazers, Hornets. Raptors just gave up OG Anunoby, who I love OG Anunoby. And they gave him to the Knicks. They got RJ Barrett in return, so I think that makes them worse. So yeah, Raptors are still there. And then obviously the Bulls, even though they've been playing well, and the Spurs. Let's move on from the parking lot, and let's go to the hotel itself. Boom! All of its glory, Hope's Hotel. There it is. Look at the lobby teams. Currently we have the Warriors, yes, still the Warriors, the Rockets, the Grizzlies, the Nets, the Pelicans, the Suns, the Cavs, the Kings, the Magic, and the Hawks. So the new teams here. We have the Grizz, Magic, Suns. Those are the 3 new teams on this lobby level. So let's talk about the Grizz. The Grizz, they went from the parking lot. They did it. We didn't think that a team could go from the parking lot all the way to the lobby, but look at the Memphis Grizzlies doing it with Ja at the helm. Ja is back from his 25 games suspension, and he looks great. He already, in the first game back, had a game winner, had great assists, great points in that game, and they looked like a completely different team. Yeah, they probably were playing that way because they had their new leader back, but at the same time, he just changes the chemical makeup of their basketball team so intensely. And so for that, the Grizzlies are on the lobby. Now, they may have lost too many games. I didn't think they'd play as poorly as they did without him, but they may have lost too many games to actually reach any kind of title hopes. But for now, Ja has a lobby pass, and Ja brings them into the lobby at the very least. We shall see where they go on from there. Then we have the Magic. The Orlando Magic, who were frisky for a long time. And then the Celtics beat them twice in a row, and they fell from grace. They've lost 5 of their last 8 games. They played some tough teams in that stretch. Like I said, the Celtics twice, Pacers. They played the Sixers and the Bucks all in that stretch, but still they're on thin ice because, again, the title hopes is 100% for the Hopes Hotel is 100% for title hopes. They don't have any star power on their team. I like a lot of their players, a lot of young, try-hard players who can make good plays, and I love Pablo. Obviously, they have some players, but not like any true stars right now. So we'll see what they can do. But for now, they are sitting in the lobby. They got a nice chair in the lobby. They're not sitting on the floor. They got a nice chair. And then finally, the other new team in the lobby are the Suns. They have fallen from a standard room. Yes, KD's team is in the lobby. You wouldn't think that, but they are. The Suns have lost 9 of their last 14 games. They are falling apart. They have no defense. They're middle of the pack basically in every single metric. Offensive metrics, 16th, 17th. Defensive metrics, 17th, 18th. They're middle of the pack in basically every single metric. KD is still being KD, but other than that, they look to be in shambles. And for that, I just see no real hope, but some hope because of KD. So they're in the lobby. So those are the teams. I'll read them again. The Warriors, again, they've been kind of reeling without Draymond. Clay is getting his shot back, but they're just not ready to be above there because there's so many good teams that are making great strides. So the Warriors, Rockets, still commendable. Grizzlies, Nets, Suns, Pelicans, Cavs, Kings, Magic, Hawks. Hawks have been reeling. They're almost in a parking lot. They're very close to the parking lot, but Trae Young's been playing well. And if they get it together, they can maybe be a play-in team as we get down, which gives them some hope, but not a lot of hope. The next tier has more than some hope. Let's go ahead and show the standard rooms real quick. Boom! Standard rooms. Here we are. We got the Lakers, the Heat, the Pacers, the Knicks, and the Clippers. Those are the teams with a standard room. They are good enough to get a room at the inn at the Hopes Hotel, the title Hopes Hotel. That is the Lakers, the Heat, the Pacers, the Knicks, and the Clippers. A lot of new teams here, mostly new teams. Let's go through them. The first one is the Heat. The Heat are a team that will always have a spot in the Hopes Hotel, whether it's in the lobby or in one of the rooms. As long as Jimmy and Bam are on the team, they're cooking. You know, they move into a standard room after winning 4 of the last 5 games, and they've beaten the Warriors, the Sixers, the Hawks, the Magic during that span. So not terrible teams, not the best teams, but formidable opponents for sure. And they just scare me as a Celtics fan. And if you're a Celtics fan, admit it. Don't be like, I ain't scared of nobody. Yeah, they're scary. You don't want to play them. And for that, they have title hopes and a standard room. A couple of twin beds in there. 1 bed for Jimmy, 1 bed for Bam, and then 1 bed for Eric Spoelstra because, you know, so there's 3 twin beds. The next new team is the Pacers. The Pacers fell from a suite. Yes, last time we did Hopes Hotel, they had a suite, but now they've fallen to a standard room. They've fallen back to earth a little bit. Since the tournament, they lost 6 out of 7 of their games. After the tournament, they just were reeling. They lost 4 in a row, and then they just one win, 1 loss, 1 win, 1 loss. So 6 of 7 games after the tournament. And since then, they've kind of regained some footing, but that's been against just lower tier teams. So, yeah, they've kind of fallen from grace. They still have a standard room. Don't worry. Tyrese Halliburton had 23 assists the other night. So, and he had 20 the night before. So we get it. Yeah, he's amazing. I love them, but they don't play any defense, and they've kind of fallen off. And do we really trust them to have that much title hopes? Again, still a standard room. They don't deserve a suite in my eyes. Next, the New York Knickerbockers. The New York Knicks. OG Anunoby is the reason. I mentioned it earlier with the Raptors. They made a mistake. OG Anunoby is a good player, and I think he's really young, and I think he's really going to be a player that grows into his game. And I think they gave the Knicks a really good guy. Now, the Knicks didn't get their star. They didn't get their big marquee player, their marquee name that I always have said that they needed. But this is a huge piece, and he's definitely a step up from RJ Barrett. They're already a good team. Jalen Brunson is playing his butt off, and I think OG Anunoby will be a really good addition, especially for an early playoff run. You know, I don't know how far they're going to go, but he certainly helps them go a little bit deeper, so that'll be fun to watch. And then the final team on here are the Lakers. They slipped all the way from a penthouse. They fell from the penthouse, hit their head in the suites, and were ushered all the way to a standard room. they've just kind of, again, similar to the Pacers, they've just kind of found themselves reeling since the in-season tournament. They don't look great. We saw that in the Christmas Day game against the Celtics. They just don't seem like they're up to par with a lot of the competition that they're playing. I believe in LeBron, so who knows by playoff time. And I'll probably have them moving the most out of all these teams just because LeBron does have so much greatness, but the team itself isn't that great. So we'll see how it goes. They just don't have the depth on this team. Maybe they'll do something by the trade deadline. I know that there's a lot of murmurs about them getting maybe Zach LaVine or someone like that. So we'll see what they can do to help. But for right now, standard room, still some hope, Lakers fans. Still some hope in the standard room. LeBron's great. AD can do his thing sometimes when he's not hurt or not doing his thing. But they have a standard room. Now, let's move into the best of the best, right? Let's move into the upper echelon of the title hopes hotel. Let's move into the suites. What teams were good enough to have a suite? Boom. Those are our suite teams. A lot of these guys have been here basically the entire season. We got the Bucks, the Sixers, the Timberwolves, the Thunder, and the Mavericks, right? So that's a lot of great teams. Those are the teams with the suites, the Bucks, the Sixers, the Timberwolves, the OKC Thunder, and the Mavericks. So let's talk about some of the new teams. There's 2 new faces in this group. We have the Thunder. You can probably guess why. SGA and Chet are so good together. SGA is showing that he is not just a talented dude on a mediocre team, he is that dude on a really good team. And that's a huge difference. You can be like Trae Young is a great player on a bad team, and it's never really materialized into anything else. Right now, already, year 2, 3 of being a star, SGA is showing wins. Wins. That's all people care about. And he's playing really well in the process. They're also top 5 in offense, OKC is, and they're second in opponent field goal percentage. So they play really tight defense, and they also obviously score at a great rate, which is what they were known for last year, but their defense has tightened up this year. And I think a lot of that is a tribute to Chet. Chet has been really great. He is my pick for Rookie of the Year. So they're a pretty good combo. Right? I love SGA, and I love his newfound command of the game. So for that, they have a suite. Now let's move on to the next new team, which is the Dallas Mavericks. Now, look, they're 6th in the West, the Dallas Mavericks are. They're not doing that great. You would see a 6th-ranked team up in the suites. Not really usual, but I'm doing this because of Luka. First of all, he's my pick for MVP this year. But second of all, in the last 4 games, he's averaging 42 points per game. He has 2 39-point games. He has a 50-point game. He's just been lights out, shooting efficiently and playing against some good competition. And, look, when Kyrie gets back, do I trust Kyrie, especially as a Boston guy? Not necessarily. But they were winning games when Kyrie was healthy. And Kyrie should be back sometime this week. If they can win games and they can grab a number 3 seed, Luka's probably going to win that MVP. And then, again, do you want to face Luka Magic in the playoffs? I really don't think you do. You might say you do. I really don't think you do. So those are my sweet teams. I'll go through those guys again. The Bucks, Sixers, Timberwolves, Thunder, and the Mavs. And then, finally, let's just show it. Bring the penthouse teams. This is where we started in the beginning of the year. We deviated a little bit with the Timberwolves and a little bit with the Lakers. Celtics have not moved. They are the best team in the NBA. This is not me being a homer. Every metric says they are. Every analyst says they are, because they are. We have the best record in the league, obviously, but beyond that, we played one of the toughest schedules in the league, and we've had some really great wins in that stretch. And then also the Denver Nuggets. I mean, Jokic is the best player in the league, right? And he plays a really connected game with his teammates. It's not just him like Luka is, just him doing what he does, scoring big numbers. He plays like an interconnected style of basketball that kind of connects everybody on a string. And when he is out there and they have health around him, that team just moves with such fluidity that it's really hard to guard and it's really hard to score against. So for that, they are a penthouse suite. So that's Hope's Hotel. Those are my people. Everybody who has a room right now, I'll go through it. Standard rooms, Lakers, Heat, Pacers, Knicks, and Clippers. And then in the suites, we have the Bucks, Sixers, Wolves, Thunder, and Mavericks. And then in the penthouse, we have the Nuggets and the Celtics. So that is this week's Hope's Hotel Hope you all enjoyed. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. Text me, DM me, write me a letter, ransom note, whatever you want to do. Let me know that I'm the worst, or let me know that, damn, Luke, you're the best. What do you think of the Hopes Hotel? Did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? Please let me know. Okay, so now it's time. That's the Hopes Hotel. So now it's time. I want to move on, right? It's time to move on. And I say we move on by bringing in, you already know, you know what? If you listen to the show, you know what I'm going to say. You know who I'm bringing on. I'm bringing on Timmy KGB, a.k.a. T-Bone Steak. Extra rare, no hollandaise. Because we're about to do it. Let's just, you know what? Enough of the dilly down. Let's just do it. This is Major Wager. What's up, Timmy? How you doing? Welcome back to Major Wager. It's been 2 weeks.
I know. I feel like it's been forever. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Of course, I saw you over Christmas break, so we got to see some of those Celtics games.
I know, man. We got to hang out. We obviously let the people down by not doing a live or an in-person Major Wager with the third bro, Max, who is yet to be on this pod, but we were just too drunk, I think is the issue. But
that's usually the excuse. That's what I tell everybody. I was just too drunk. I did bring a third microphone for Max to do a live thing, but we just didn't. We were too drunk. We didn't get to it.
We let the people down, and that's okay.
That's fine.
You got
we're gonna bring the
You
people back up now.
What's that?
I said we're gonna bring the people back up. We let the people down, but we're gonna bring them back up with this episode of Major Wager.
We are. What are you up to for New Year's? You got anything?
We're going to be going up to my wife's dad's house, my father-in-law's house, and we're going to listen to some records. He just got a new record player, so in a whole sound system. So we're going to go down there, listen to some records, and eat good food, and yeah, hang out. How about you?
Dude, love it, Nate. Nothing, dude. The kids have been home since before Christmas. We're on our 8th different cold. I hardly know what day it is. It's honestly a miracle that I'm not in my pajamas for this podcast right now. When this thing's over, I'm gonna go sit in a dark room in a semi-catatonic state and wait for it to be unacceptable bedtime. So you don't not much going on over here.
You're not wearing pants, are you?
No. I'm never wearing pants for Major Wager. I hope you
good.
know that.
I was gonna say I'm always pantsless for Major Wager too. Yeah. I don't even have kids.
No, exactly. I throw the shirt on, throw the hat on. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Speaking of Major Wager, let's get into it. Last week, I finally got a win. It's been a while since Lukey's gotten a win. And I had the Knicks over the Lakers 2 weeks ago. So it was way in the past. But I had the Knicks over the Lakers, and it was plus 160 for that game. I put down 100. So I got 160. I went from $800 to $960. You had a 3-game teaser. And
sure.
Yeah,
if you say so, Luke.
This was 2 weeks ago, but I know that one of the games was you had a teaser for the Sixers against the Bulls, where the original line was 10.5 for the Sixers, obviously, which teased it down to 5.5. But the Sixers lost to the Bulls somehow. The Bulls have been winning. The Bulls have kind of made a little jump.
Kobe White. It's the what do they call him? La Flama Blanca.
Yep.
Yeah, we love it. I don't know. Yeah, sure. I lost a teaser. I believe you. I think the episode that we did that we've been to some Christmas parties, if I can recall. Yeah, that sounds like me to make a really stupid NBA teaser, which isn't even a thing.
And not just an NBA teaser, but a 3-game teaser too.
Sure.
Yeah. So right now you're at 900 and I'm at 960 for the race. So neck and neck, but I've taken the lead. Lukey has taken the lead.
And also we should bring up, both of our future bets are very much in play.
Yes.
Maxey is still the front runner for most improved, and Luka, the we can have the MVP conversation in a different pod, obviously in a different episode, but the deeper we get into the season, he's certainly not the favorite, but he's still in the combo. So
it's been the same.
Fantastic.
It's been the same thing with him as it has for the last 3 years, right? He's killing it. His statistics are great. He's amazing, but his team is the 6th seed right now, and they're just not winning enough games.
But they're right there, and I wouldn't be surprised if they finish with a top 4 seed or even higher in the West. And he has always been great, but this is the best I've seen Luka play. Yeah, I think in his career so far.
Let me ask you a stat question here. What do you think Luka Doncic is averaging over the last 4 games? So past 4 contests.
I know he's at I want to say 33 for the year.
34, 33.9 on the year.
What did you say? Last 5 games?
Last 4 games.
Is it over 40? 41?
Well, you
I
take a
don't know.
guess. What is it?
41.
42. Great guess.
Ooh, great
42.
guess.
He has a
Yeah, he's been on
39, a
fire.
50. Ugh,
He's awesome.
he's amazing. He's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know if they get Irving back. It looks like they were supposed to get him back sometime this week. If they start winning some more games and they get like a 3 seed, a top 3-4 seed, then I don't know. I mean, right now he's not even in the top 3 for the odds right now, but I mean, he's playing better than anybody in the league.
Well, I mean, Embiid is really hard to beat at this point. I mean, like I don't think he's going to win a consecutive MVP, but right now, if you had to do the vote today, it would have to be Joel.
Yeah. Well,
It
it has to be Joel, but I don't know. Call me a hater, whatever you want to call me. I don't believe in him. I don't. I think he just draws fouls all day and just sits on the. I don't know why teams don't play him like the Celtics do. Crowd him on the free throw line, crowd him on the low block. He can't do anything. But he's eating alive the Hornets and the Wizards, and he's eating these shitty teams alive. But like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's table this conversation about the MVP because I feel like we're really going to delve into it probably in several weeks. But
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, both those bets are alive, so who knows? Who knows? We
Yeah.
can both win our future.
I like the Maxi one. Speaking of bets, let's play some new bets, Timmy. Let's do it.
Good.
Let's get some new bets going for Monday, the new year, 2024, new year, same bets. Let's go ahead and lay it down. Tim, go ahead and give me your bet first. What do you got?
Okay. So last week I lost on a teaser. I'm still on these exotics. I don't know why. But why not have fun with it?
Right.
So for this one, I did two player props, and I really like to do these. I don't generally like to do player props, but when I do, I like to do the sort of points, assists, and rebounds combined prop. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at tomorrow, we have the Nuggets playing the Hornets, and I selected Jamal Murray. Okay?
Nice.
And points, rebounds, assists combined over 33.5. Okay. The odds on that are minus 115. So again, all of those statistical categories combined just to exceed. Doesn't matter what the ratio is to exceed over 33.5. So I parlayed that with Damian Lillard, points, rebounds, and assists in the game against the Pacers to exceed 36.5. Basically, this bet is two guards are going to have really well-rounded games. They're going to go off against bad defenses.
Yeah.
Especially the Pacers. So, and narrative-wise, right? Like they lost to the Pacers in the in-season tournament, and there's a little bit of revenge there. And the Pacers haven't been good since we like sang Halliburton's praises on this podcast and talked about he's such a Batman. And like
they lost 6 of 7 right after the in-season tournament.
Yeah. So these two, I don't know, like going through their recent games, they've been hitting these numbers, in the past several games. And anyway, so the combined odds for those two. So again, I'll just read it one more time. It's Jamal Murray, points, rebounds, and assists over 33.5. And it's Damian Lillard, points, rebounds, and assists over 36.5. The combined odds for those as a parlay is plus 242.
Ooh.
Okay. I'm putting in $100 for 342.75.
Timmy, I like that a lot. That's a good one.
It's another exotic, so it'll lose. I mean, it'll lose like I'll be like 1 point, 1 rebound, whatever short.
Well, I don't know. No, your point. It's a really good, 2 good games to pick, but especially the Damian Lillard one because the defense on both aren't that strong, and those players I think are going to be able to rack up. So it's not crazy. It's not in the 40s or anything like that. So I think you get enough points. I can see that. I really can.
So we'll see.
You took the over on both, right?
Over on both.
Yeah.
Plus 242.
That's pretty good. So say one more time. What are you betting and how much does that pay?
$100 to pay out 342.75. Make sure you get 75. That 75 cents in there because that could be.
Hold on. Let me write that down.
10.
75 cents. Okay, you're good. Okay, 75 cents. All right. My turn.
Okay.
My turn. I'm doing a little simple thing. I'm doing a same game parlay. It's going to be 2 picks. So the first thing is I just have the Indiana Pacers straight up over the Milwaukee Bucks.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again,
We keep falling on opposite ends. Like, I love it. I mean,
completely unintentional. I swear to God, everybody listening, we do not talk about this before. So I have the Indiana Pacers straight up over the Bucks. That's because I think when the Indiana Pacers want to play defense, they can play defense. They just haven't been. Like, they played really well in the in-season tournament. And I think that they have been hearing the chatter. And so they know that people have been talking bad about their defense. They already beat the Milwaukee Bucks once. They have confidence against them. And I think that they're going to come out and win. Also, my second part of the parlay is Tyrese Halliburton over 13 and a half assists.
ooh, okay.
Yeah, which
Is that
seems
an adjusted
high.
line, or is that the line they give you?
Say that again.
Is that like an adjusted assist line, or is that the one they give you for the
That's the one they
automatic
gave.
player prop? Wow.
Yeah, that's the one they give for the player prop. So that's at a plus 370 with those both combined. And I'm going to do 150 for that to win 502. So yeah, pretty great odds.
Holy
or pretty,
moly.
pretty like giving, like it's giving odds, but the 13 and a half assists seems high. And I know he averages 12 and a half assists, but he's been assist hunting lately. I don't know if you've seen any of these videos of people breaking down play by play, him end of game garbage time, basically yelling at players to shoot it whenever he passes it to them. He is hunting assists.
So he's rondoing
assists the other night, and then he had 25 assists last night. I just think he wants to break Stockton's record. And so I think he's going to get over 13 and a half. I think he all night is just going to be looking for the pass. And again, the Bucks defense is nothing short of awful. So I think that he's going to be able to have his way.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, that's why I asked if it was an adjusted line, because just 13. Yeah, I mean, that's just a ton of assists. And sure, I think he's leads the league in assists. He's by far leads the league in assists. You're right. He's probably stat hunting a little bit, playing a little Rondo game there. But yeah, why not? Right. I definitely I think it's a decent bet for them to win it. I mean, yeah, they've got to turn the corner at some point. But sure, yeah, that's a tough one. That's gonna be a tough one, but the odds reflect that. So
yeah, but the Bucks also, they have one of the worst defenses in assist percentage, like opponents' assist percentage. I think they're like 24th in opponents' assist percentage or something like that. So they are not good at marking the other guy. They're, that's kind of why their defense has been so poor the entire year. So I just think someone like Tyrese, fresh off the heels of a 22 assist performance, and then last night a 25 assist performance, or 23. I just think he's going to be assist hunting. Even it might ruin the other part of my parlay of them winning the game. Because I think he might just be
had a
super
23
focused.
assist night. What?
Yeah, he had 25 assists the other night. 23 assists. Yeah. Let me look it up exactly.
That's insane.
Isn't that insane? Watch this. Hold on. Tyrese Halliburton the other night. Everybody bear with us here. He had 22 points and 23 assists.
Dude, that's wild. Yeah,
against
20,
the Knicks.
23. I can't believe these not. Yeah, looking at them right now. I mean, 13 is very very moderate number. Wow.
Yeah.
Man, he's great.
Well, he's great, but again, I watched this whole video breaking down his last 5 games. He is no shame hunting assist numbers. He is it'll be garbage time. It's only bench players, but Halliburton will still be in. The game's over, and he's passing it. And so there was one video of he passed it to somebody, and the guy had a dunk, but instead he kicked it out for a 3. And Tyrese is looking at him shoot the ball. What are you doing? Shoot the ball. Because he had 19 assists and he wanted to get to 20 assists. And this was 2-3 games. This was before that 23 assist game. Yeah.
Yikes. Well, all right, let's go. One of us could add to our totals.
Yeah. Well, I like it. I still went with an underdog. Again, I picked an underdog to win. It worked for me 2 weeks ago. So yeah. Well, before we go and before we enter into the new year here, I want to ask you, earlier in the pod, actually, I did a segment where I did some New Year's resolutions for some Celtics players entering 2024, some resolutions. They wrote me a letter. Actually, it was very cute. They wrote me a letter I was Santa, and they basically told me what their New Year's resolutions were and what I thought of them. And I talked about those a lot. So do you have any New Year's resolutions for the Celtics? What do you got?
Yeah. this team is really good. So they aren't huge. I mean, the obvious one is like win a championship, which is not, that doesn't count, obviously. I
Right.
didn't
No.
do that, but like,
That's every team's New Year's
well,
resolution.
but that's the level the Celtics are at. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the hump to get over. It's a team that's made the finals and the Eastern Conference Finals several times. So, but short of that, I mean, if you're looking at a flaw in this team, there's really two things. But I mean, the first thing I wrote here is like figure out their crunch time offense. So for the Celtics to just figure out the game plan in close games, like they've coasted against a lot of teams this season. We have the second best point differential in the league. It's nearly 10 points. We're winning a lot of these games by double digits, blowing out a lot of teams. This team, the Celtics team, is starting to look like a team that's most comfortable with a big lead, right? Like they're decent at protecting these leads. They get out ahead of teams and they just put them away. I mean, like in first halves usually. I mean, scoring
Yeah.
in the 70s and sometimes even 80s in the first half and just like burying teams early. Which is great. It's great to watch, and we do that because we have so many guys who can score and such a versatile offense. But yeah, there's been a few games this year, right, where you can see these problems that any Celtics fan knows. It's plagued us specifically in the postseason when it comes to late game execution in games that are within a few points, right,
Yeah.
in these clutch situations. And I mean, look, like there are certain teams in this league. You have a guy like a Lillard or Luca or Curry or Butler in some cases, even there's these guys. I'm not sure Tatum has that. In fact, I'm sure at this point in his career he does. I mean, you just can't call him. You can't put him in that tier with those other guys.
No.
And yet, so often our late game execution looks as if he is that, right? Like these pull up threes. Tatum is taking so many pull up threes this season. I mean, I forget exactly the stat, but he's very near the top of the league, and he's shooting like in the 20s, in the high 20s on those pull up threes. I mean, there's not a high percentage at all. Overall, the Celtics, clutch stats aren't terrible, but 3 of our 6 losses have been overtime losses, and I think you see these habits rear their heads. I'm talking about really ISO heavy, pull up threes, step backs, driving into multiple defenders, just predictable offense
Him
that
and
really lacks
JB.
creativity. Him and JB, yeah, and so
yeah.
yeah, I was just like looking at the Timberwolves game is a great example of it. And I went back and watched like the end of the game, right? Specifically in overtime. And, Tatum goes ISO against Edwards, really ill-advised, gets the ball stolen. Next play, offensive foul on an illegal screen. These are just the Celtics offensive plays. Next play, Holiday, ISO drive, missed layup, tough layup contested by Gobert. Next play, Tatum, ISO 3, misses, really tough shot over I forget exactly who was over, but Brown ISO against Gobert, fadeaway jumper, misses. Again, these are all really, really tough shots. And so I think a lot of us who watch games like that, and the Warriors game is another example of that, I think, and the Hornets game.
I was going to say the
season.
Hornets game. I mean, we were 0-3 before we had to go to the overtime with the Pistons. It took us to do overtime with the Pistons to win a game, and we still only won that game in the last minute. It was still tight.
So yeah, that's the biggest question for me is like, do we have the sort of team where if we're up by 2 or if we're tied or down by a basket or 2, it's like, do we trust that we're going to get a quality look? And that's all it comes down to. We won an overtime game against the Pistons, and you saw a lot of like Jaylen Brown, Porzingis 2-man game, a lot of Porzingis. Maybe that's the answer. Porzingis has looked good to me in late game situations, in those tight situations. I know he missed a go ahead 3 that we were. Who was
that was early in the season when we weren't sure. I did a whole segment earlier in this podcast on Porzingis and his efficient shooting. He shoots 50% in the fourth, but in all the quarters in under 3 minutes in the quarters, he shoots 56% from the floor. And so he's been, I think he's the go-to guy, or not the go-to guy, but he's a great number 2. If we can move the ball around, I think what you're talking about is a issue that we've had that might be like almost like a trauma for this team for the past couple of years, because it really was just Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Because if it wasn't that, then they'd be passing to Marcus Smart. And now you have Derek White, who we have confidence in. You have Porzingis, who we have confidence in. And I think that we'll see that 2-man game. Like you said, in the Pistons game, Jaylen Brown didn't play, but the 2-man game between Porzingis and Tatum, was so clutch down the stretch because Tatum is going to be doubled on the high block, low block, or just up top, wherever he is. And he's been getting the ball out quick. And I think Porzingis had the 3 that really put us ahead in the overtime. But then again, Tatum got the ball in post, drove into the middle of the paint, found Derek White at the top of the key with a lob pass, and Derek White hit top of the key 3. And that's what needs to happen. It can't be ISO ball.
Yeah.
That thing that you were
did I
talking
say
about.
Brown? Did I say Brown and Porzingis 2-man game?
Yeah.
But
But
I meant to say White Porzingis.
well, and White and Porzingis that's exactly what you're talking about. Brown and Tatum feel the same kind of tightness late in game and in the overtime. And I think White and Porzingis are the answer to that. Like if Tatum can have confidence going to them, and it like again, not ISO. Like you were talking about the Timberwolves game. You said ISO like 6 times in 7 plays.
Yeah.
And that just we play so well all game, and then it breaks down in the overtime.
Stagnant, predictable. And sure, sometimes Tatum will hit that like pull up 3, but I don't know, like yeah, again, every Celtics fan knows this, and we have so many options, and yet it's still plagued us. I mean, again, this just our record in OT this year.
Yeah,
and so again,
yeah.
it's small, because the Celtics are such a good team, but in the playoffs, it's going to be a big deal. We're going to need to put away close games, right?
Yeah.
Games where we're tied or we need to go ahead basket, games where we just need someone to come up and pull away a win. So yeah,
I like that. How many times have we seen the Heat and Jimmy Butler just do exactly that to us while Tatum is doing this, looking around for like what to do, and Brown is taking 3-on-1 in the middle of the paint, and then Marcus Smart is hucking up some crazy 3, and we're just running around.
Well, with Tatum, it's almost like he needs to find a balance at the end of games and close games, because he either seems like he's trying to do way too much or nothing, standing
or
in the
nothing
corner,
at all,
completely out of the play. And again, this isn't a problem with this game in general. It just does seem to be late in games, and maybe part of that is Missoula, and drawing up good ATOs, drawing up better actions, figuring out exactly what actions we want to sort of get into in those situations. But yeah, that seems like a place where we could definitely improve.
Yeah,
So
Tatum did have one.
Figure out the clutch offense.
Yes, that is a great resolution. I just want to say one last thing about it. Tatum did have in that Pistons game, which is, again, hopefully this is a trend and not just a one-off, but he had 4 of his 8 assists in that game in the final 5 minutes of the fourth quarter and overtime. And they were big assists. It was the touchdown pass to Porzingis in overtime. It was the touch pass to
nice.
White. Yeah, that was a great one. And then it was one more pass. And those ones were all 3 in the overtime. So like if he is this year, you've talked about it. He's been he's been taking control of the game. And if he can in late games just like understand he doesn't need to be Kobe Bryant because he's not Kobe Bryant, then that would be great. Do you have any other resolutions?
I have a couple more, but let's do one more at least. I don't know if you did this or talked about Derek White, but the second resolution is this player-specific resolution. Derek White's New Year's resolution is to make his first All-Star team.
Yes.
And this is one of those ones where it's a long shot, right? It's like me being like, I'm gonna lose 10 pounds. It's like, are you?
Right.
Are you really? But no, I mean, like really.
Right.
People have talked a lot about it. Obviously, he's been the subject of this conversation. Like, can he make an all-star team? Like, what would have to happen for Derek White to make it? I mean, people have white fever in Boston. Like everyone, well, we shouldn't say that. Everyone is into Derek White. He's great. Everyone loves him, myself included. But can he make an all-star team? Like, I actually think it's possible. I really dug into this, thinking about like New Year's resolutions, and I was like, no, this could actually happen. So yes. White, just to go over it, 17 points, about 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 1.3 blocks, 1.3 steals, shooting just under 50% from the field, over 41% from 3, just under 90 from the lines, just around 50, 40, 90. Second overall in the entire league in net rating for a player, which is great. And he runs the offense for the best team in the league, right? And he is our point guard.
Yep.
It's just he's just had a great season. The eye test, like watching Derek White, like Yeah, he has just been in control. His game has been so organic within the flow of the Celtics offense, and defensively he's just been a stud. He's an amazing defender all year. Look at this one, Lukey. I don't know if you know this stat, but only two players have recorded 100 assists, 73 pointers, 30 blocks, and 30 steals in their first 27 games of an NBA season.
So
Only two players in the history of the league.
so here's where this comes into play. I'm gonna act like I don't know, but I do know.
Totally now.
So I'm gonna go LeBron James.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
see that stat? And Derek White.
Crazy.
Come on.
Crazy.
Come on.
I mean, I it's kind of a nitpicky stat, but at the same time, it's
It
not
is.
because it's a little because what did then LeBron James do the other,
Yeah.
40
But
games
I
of
mean,
the season?
it is a fantastic production, the amount of production that he's had early in this
Yeah.
season. And, if you really look at like this team over the past couple years, I mean, you could really say that acquiring Derek White is one of the most pivotal turning points for the Celtics team. We
I
were we were
think
just over 500, and then we got Derek White, and we really started to look different and round into what we currently are after picking up White, and especially over the course of the last couple of years, and getting more acquainted with the team and taking on
yeah,
a
we
much
we
larger.
were 35 and 30 or 31 and 35, and then we went 20 and 6 when
Yeah,
we
insane.
traded for him. And I think it's going to be him. We've been talking about these two people a lot this whole time, but him and Porzingis, I truly believe, I talked about it earlier, but I think him and Porzingis are such a deep, like a game changer for the Celtics in a crazy way. You said it with the eye test, talking about the All-Star resolution. If you're watching the games, you can see his numbers, see 17 points, whatever, all these numbers, and you're like, oh, great. An occasional 30 game, you're thinking, cool, every good team has that guy. But if you're watching the game and you see the timeliness of the blocks, the timeliness of the shots that he hits,
Yep.
the timeliness of the big plays that he makes, like against the Pistons, again, that was just a really fun game. A bunch of NBA guys out there. He had that big block on the transition play, which was like 3 minutes left in the fourth. And then he made all of the big plays down the stretch. And that's nothing new. We weren't going there as Celtics fans being like, what? Derek White? What's he doing? We were like, boom, that's D White. Yep.
It's become a habit. It's
Yeah.
become every game you're sort of expecting. We
Yep.
expect those moments, not necessarily a huge stat line, but as you said, we expect those big moments and those big shots and big blocks. And
No, dude, I love that. I think White definitely should be an all-star. It's great because also if it's his resolution, his New Year's resolution, it's going to be, I want him working towards that. Well, we should probably get out of here. We're running out of time. But before we do, Tim, speaking of the All-Star game, because we got voting going on right now, who do you think will be, and this is not for who you want, but who do you think will be the starting five for the East and the starting five for the West in the All-Star game of 2024?
okay. East. Let's start East. Halliburton.
Mhm.
Okay. It's between Lillard and Brunson. Lillard will probably be named the starter.
Yeah.
Giannis, Embiid, Tatum.
Nice. Okay, that's good. That's
Although,
my five. That's what I
I'm
have.
tempted to say Brunson. I mean, are the Bucks really going to have two starters? Well, whatever. We'll
It's
go
tough
with,
with
Lillard, 'cause
Dame. I mean,
do think
Dame is so popular, and
yeah,
so it's tough. But
Brunson probably deserves it over Dame.
yeah, I think he does. All right, now West.
Okay, Shea for sure.
Yes.
Man, yeah, I want to say so I'm not I was going to go with Curry. I'm not going to go with Curry. I want to go with Edwards for the other guard spot.
Okay. Young.
They have the best record.
Young.
And
You're going with
I
two
think
young
people are gonna
guys.
vote for Ant. I don't know. Obviously Jokic going out of order. I want to say Kawhi.
Whoa.
Really?
Interesting.
Kawhi's been
Okay.
amazing.
Okay. I like it. No, he's been playing incredible. And the Clippers somehow are not falling apart.
And then finally, it's between Durant and LeBron. Am I missing someone? I'm doing this off the top of my head.
Well, Luka.
Yeah, Luka. But he's listed as a guard.
But he's listed as a guard.
Scratch
Yeah.
it. Back it up. Okay. Don't actually back up the tape. Let the people see the mind process.
Yep.
Okay. So, yeah, Shea and Luca. Edwards is out.
Yeah.
You're out of here.
Yeah. Good call.
Kawhi, I'm sticking with.
Okay.
He's been fantastic.
Yeah. No, he's incredible.
Jokic, Obs, and lastly, I'm gonna go with Durant. Well, that's probably
Really?
yeah.
You think that LeBron won't be voted into the?
Yeah, probably. It's probably LeBron.
It's gonna be LeBron.
I mean, yeah, dude's doing amazing things at his age. It's LeBron.
And
Scratch it again.
Just
You
the
talked me
whole.
into it
All
by
right,
just
let's go back
invoking his
one more
name.
time. No, I'm
Boom,
kidding.
boom, boom.
No,
back.
that's your
LeBron.
list. You said KD, not LeBron. No,
I
it's
said
definitely
LeBron.
gonna be
I feel
LeBron.
like I said LeBron.
He might have
and
the. He'll probably have the most votes again. He has it every
He
year.
probably will. Why
Yeah.
Yeah, LeBron for sure.
Okay, I like
For
it.
sure.
That's pretty similar to what that's actually exactly what I have. Except I have instead of Shea, I have Shea on the bench, unfortunately, because I got Steph. I just love Steph. I think Steph, and again, it's the fan voting that's going to tilt that to me because the coaches pick the reserves.
Shay's been the best guard in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No shortage of love from me. I love Shea.
He is fantastic.
Yeah. All right, sweet dude. Well, another great major wager. I can't wait to see who's up next week. We'll talk about that, and we'll talk about a lot more. But like I said, great episode.
Happy New Year, buddy.
Happy New Year.
2024. Let's go.
Kiss me. Before I sign off, I'm going to do what I do every week. And I'm going to go ahead and list some of the marquee games that I see coming up in the week ahead for the NBA, along with the Celtics slate of games. So let's go ahead and start with the NBA games. Tonight, Indiana Pacers go to the Bucks at 8 p.m. That should be a good one. It's two young, really fast-paced offenses, really good offenses. Not a lot of defense in this game, so that should be fun. And then Wednesday, the LA Clippers travel to the Phoenix Suns at 9 p.m. That's an interesting one because, like I always say with the Clippers, it's like the 2018 All-NBA team. You got Harden, you got Kawhi, you got Paul George, now KD. So it's going to be one of those really fun kind of old school games. Not old school for us now, but I mean just some of the stars that, really used to reign supreme in the league. And then we have Heat on the same day on Wednesday, Heat going to the Lakers at 10 o'clock. That's going to be a little bit finals rematch from a few years ago. That should be fun. And then on Thursday, the New York Knicks travel to Philly at 7:30 p.m. New York, Philly, can't beat it, right? I mean, you got two gritty teams, and I'm really excited to see how OG Anunoby fits in with that Knicks team. Now, for the Celtics, Celtics play Tuesday. Celtics at OKC. This is the game of the week for the Celtics. That's at 8 p.m. We have the Boston Celtics, Jason Tatum traveling to OKC Thunder, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, two of the best young talents in this league going head-to-head. And I'm really excited to see it. I'm excited to see what they pull out. I'm excited to see what happens. I hope it's a good one. I think it's going to be a good one. Two great teams, too. It's not just the talent. Two great teams top to bottom and two teams fighting for good positioning in their respective conferences. And then on Friday, the Celtics have the Jazz coming to town. That'll be fun, 7 p.m. And finally, on Saturday, the Celtics travel to the Indiana Pacers to get a little bit of revenge for being knocked out of the in-season tournament by the Pacers. Celtics will be out for blood, hopefully, because we kind of got embarrassed the last time we were there. Yeah, that's it. That's all I have. I got nothing else to say, so I'm going to sign off. But thank you for listening or watching or whatever you've done, and appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed. Because this, honestly, this has been it's been the dribble.